Hello everybody, I'm Jake.
And I'm Olivia.
And welcome to the Buc Buzz.
So Jake, what's it like being a senior?
Well, it's really awesome, but it's super stressful too, especially with having to apply for colleges and for scholarships.
Isn't there a college essay that you have to write as well?
Yeah, there is. I had to write that earlier in the year for my English class.
I still have 4 more years until I have to do all that, but I'm still curious. What is it all about?
It's a very good question. Well, the college essays are what seniors write to include in their common application to be considered by colleges. Every year there are different prompts that students can choose in order to better depict who they are. I wrote mine about my travel abroad to Europe this summer and about how that changed me as a person. No need to fear, the teachers are very involved in helping the students write their essays, so it's difficult not to excel. For more about the college essays, we're going to send it over to Roman and Rachel.
Every year, seniors struggle writing essays to apply for colleges. Recently, we caught up with Jake Gerber, a senior at Oswego High School, to get information about how he planned out and worked his essay throughout the year. Let's have a look.
The main challenge that I had in writing my essay was coming up with an idea. There were 5 prompts, so first I had to pick a prompt, and then when I picked one that I knew I could respond to, I had to think of an idea that would be best show my character and who I was as a person, to show that to colleges. So I think coming up with an idea was the hardest part. Well, I had my teacher and a couple of my classmates look at it, and then when I was done, I sent it to all my colleges, so they'll all be reading it as well. I think we had maybe around 5 class days to work on it in the library, but we got the information around a week before that, so we had a good amount of time to work on it, so that if you wanted to finish early and use your class time to work with your teacher to improve your essay as a whole, or have other students peer edit it, you could do that as well. The topic of my essay was about the trip I took to Europe this summer and about how that sort of changed me as a person and can better prepare me for college. I would say start writing the essay early. I would say, even before, just once you find out the prompts, just write it in those next coming days. And then you can talk with your teacher, you can have other students look at your essay, and then once you're done with that, you can start. Some schools offer supplemental essays that you have to write. So for me, I finished my essay, a few days early, so I started one of my supplementals, and I had my teacher look at that one as well, so that was really helpful.
That sounds pretty stressful. Hopefully I have something interesting to write about by the time that I'm a senior. This month in OHS is Stalking Awareness Month. We are taking stalking very seriously, and it can be very dangerous and scary. If someone keeps texting you and you don't want them to, if they constantly harass you and your friends, if they show up where you are when you never asked or told them where you were going, then these are some signs that someone is stalking you. Miranda Miller, a student at OHS, said, "I think stalking is a very serious matter, and I am very happy that our school is taking action and helping students with their problems." If you feel like you or a friend is being stalked, contact your school advocate Tuesdays or Thursdays in the nurse's office or call 342-1600. Make sure you drop off your old cell phones with chargers at a box at the guidance office.
That is such a great idea to raise awareness about this dangerous occurrence, and it's more common than you might think.
Definitely it is. Now for a big school-wide issue. Have you noticed that many students enjoy sitting in the halls in the long hallway where many of the lockers are? Have you also noticed that these students are no longer doing this? The administrators have cracked down on these students because they are seen as a tripping hazard and block the lockers. This enactment by the administration has not been without protest, as many of the former sitters have done sit-in protests and held up signs. For more information about the protests, we're going to send it over to Nate Green and Nate Schultzke.
The latest epidemic in OHS is not being allowed to sit in the halls. This has affected most people, some more than others. We recently caught up with Kennedy Thompson and Maddie Plyler to get their opinion about the new rules.
I feel that it's very stupid because we have to wake up at 7 o'clock to get to school to sit in get a parking spot. Yet we can't even, once we get into school, we can't even sit down. We have to just stand up and clog up the hallways more. How do you feel about that?
I agree. Kids have homework to do. they have breakfast to eat. It's kind of dumb you have to stand and eat your breakfast.
We participated in a group sit-in
In front of the cafeteria.
to try to like be able to sit, but nothing really happened. So
Yeah, SUNY ignored us. We also made signs with like student rights and responsibilities, and it's in the student handbook. It says it's nowhere in there that's stated like we can't sit in the hallways. So I haven't been able to do my homework. I have to do it first period now, and then I get in trouble with Shaw because it's yearbook. I have to eat my breakfast in first period. I have to stand up, which is actually a pain because, you know, early in the morning. Clogging the halls.
I feel like I've gotten in more trouble because like I stand in the hallway and then all of my friends we all just stand in a circle and talk. While when we were sitting down the hallway, our only issue was really that we had our legs out, I guess. And if that was I don't know. We were told that we were blocking the lockers, so we decided to move to an empty hallway where there was no lockers, and we still got in trouble for it. So I'm just kind of...
And that's the latest buzz around OHS. I'm Nate Schultzke, back to you guys.
Interesting to see when these students are able to sit again.
Definitely it will be. Now for some information about VEX Robotics, one of the most popular clubs in our school, which has had a great deal of success. I always hear about all the cool things that the VEX team has been doing with robots, and I would love to hear more about what they do. With that, we're going to send it over to Cole and Eli.
The Oswego High School Robotics Club is a unique club in the school introducing students to the field of engineering and fostering an interest in the field through competition and teamwork. For more information about joining the club, or just the club in general, go talk to Mr. Bach in the tech room. Also, we were able to catch up with Matthew Bach, the club supervisor, also James May, one of the club members, for an inside look about the club. Let's send it to them.
VEX Robotics is a high school competition we have at the Oswego High School. What we do is every year we build a new robot for a new competition, and throughout the fall and into the winter season we go to local high schools and actually compete against other schools in clubs, organizations that have VEX Robotics as well.
So VEX is essentially an annual robotics competition that's held every year, and each year the competition is different. This year it's called Nothing But Net, and essentially we have to build a robot that launches these foam balls into a hoop from a distance away.
VEX Robotics at the Oswego High School, this is now our third year we've been involved with it. So every year we're actually building our team a little bit bigger and stronger. So hopefully next year we can recruit a few more students, as we have some outgoing seniors this year.
My role is basically bouncing ideas off Evan and James and assembling the robot. I've learned all sorts of technical details about robotics from this, and I've learned a good deal of coding from working on the robot. When you're starting to build the robot, you have to deal with all sorts of different problems and essentially try to figure out, when you first start, you have to figure out how to launch the ball into the hoop, but as you get building your robot, you have to solve each individual problem as it comes up.
This has been Zach Dano, reporting for WBUC.
Does sound like a lot of fun.
I know, right? Now we're going to send over to Billy in Austin with yet another installment of This Week in Technology, where we will learn about the latest innovations in the market. They always have very cool inventions to show, so I'm excited to see what they are. This week we'll learn more information about a CES 2016 hologram, a solo shot, and a saber forge. Let's send it over to them.
In 2016, CES Hologram have created the holograms that you see in almost every futuristic movie. They are produced by LED strips at different angles, spinning to create a 3D image. By spinning and timing them, you can indeed create a true 3D display. That objects at different depths will have focal points at their respective depths. It's just not a mono wheel. It's more. It's the true kind of hologram that you would see in the movies. Ever heard of a solo shot? No? Let me tell you about it. Solo shot is an equipment device that you can use for your camera or GoPro, and it follows you wherever you go with having a tag on you. This solo shot can follow you up to 2,000 feet away and has so many more options like photo burst, automatically zooming, recorded control, motion time lapse, and it can track multiple tags by closeness, speed, or by the button on your tag, so you can switch back and forth between your buddy. It also works with DSLRs. It's a really unique equipment for you to use for your camera, and you can have a really fun time with it. Ever wanted your very own lightsaber and not the kind you get from the store? Well, check out SaberForge. SaberForge is a store that makes very own realistic lightsabers, to the metal parts, to the wiring inside, right down to the own sound effects that the sword makes. Saber parts are so easy to put together, and you can actually fight with them. They're not just a prop. The customization options at SaberForge seem endless, and it seems like you can build your very own lightsaber that you feel is yours. When you have it in your hands, you'll feel like you have the real deal. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go out and get my own lightsaber.
Wow! I didn't even know that holograms existed.
Me neither. That is crazy.
It's so crazy. In our local political news, much of the news is focused on the closing of the Fitzpatrick nuclear plant. One story related to the closing is regarding the efforts to stop the closing to ensure that other energy production plants do not follow suit. A group of elected representatives sent a letter to Governor Andrew Cuomo to try and call on him to protect energy jobs in upstate New York. The new coalition has been organized by the County of Oswego Industrial Development Agency, which is leading the fight to keep the James A. Fitzpatrick nuclear power plant in Scriba open. The agency hopes for immediate action in the midst of the legislative session in Albany. The agency worries that if one plant closes, the others could follow. The coalition has many requests, such as making changes to the existing energy policies for how nuclear power is recognized, making nuclear power a part of the state's efforts to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, and improvements in how electrical energy is transferred. The coalition pointed out that upstate New York produces 2/3 of New York's power supply, but only uses 1/3 of the state's power. Power plants in upstate New York account for nearly 25,000 jobs, so there must be efforts to ensure that no more power plants are closed down in the future.
Hopefully they can prevent the closing of the Fitzpatrick, or at least stop other plants from closing. Now we'll take it over to Zach Crusoe, who has some information for us about Martin Luther King Day, which will be taking place next Monday. Martin Luther King was one of the key people in ending of the segregation in our country. This is a time for us to honor all of his achievements in bettering the lives of African Americans. For more, let's send it over to Zach.
Martin Luther King Jr. Day is this Monday, January 18th. Martin Luther King Jr. Day is always the third Monday in January. And many of us have always celebrated this holiday and used it just a day off from school or a day off of work. But not many of us know why we have this holiday or how it even came to be. The holiday was originally supported by labor unions and later brought to Congress by a representative from Michigan and a senator from Massachusetts. The vote originally took place in 1979 where it fell 5 votes short. Later on, in 1983, the vote finally passed through and Ronald Reagan, the president of the
I can't remember when I first learned about Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I assume it was a very early age in elementary school.
The holiday as a whole is controversy at the beginning of it because only 2 people in our country had a holiday named after them. It's only George Washington, Christopher Columbus, and a holiday named after them. The arguments against this were that it would be too expensive for a paid national holiday, that it would honor an individual private person and not a person who held office. Although Martin Luther King Jr. made great strides to make our society what it is today, with the holiday being passed in 1983, the first time it was ever even celebrated by all 50 states was in 2000.
Central asked him.
Absolutely not. There has not been anyone who has made the strides that he made as far as segregation and discrimination. There's no one else that has made those advances in our society, and I do not feel there ever will be. I don't feel that we would be as far advanced as far as segregation at this point in time. However, I still feel that we need to make great strides, that we're still not to where we need to be.
Zach Caruso here with WBUC, wondering, do you have a dream? Signing off. Have a nice day, OHS.
This day in memory of Martin Luther King Jr. is so deserved based on all that he has done in the world.
I agree. Now, I'm sure for many of you seniors out there, SUNY Oswego is one of your top choices for where you will attend in the fall. SUNY Oswego is a great school close to home, but it is also now regarded as one of the best northern colleges by the Princeton Review. This is a great honor and just goes to show the seniors out there that one of their best options of where to attend is just a quick 2-minute drive away. For more about this, we're going to send it over to Greg, Miranda, and Zach.
SUNY Oswego has been around since 1861. Many students have enrolled and graduated from SUNY Oswego. In August 2015, the Princeton Review wrote an article on colleges called Best in Northeastern Recommend Schools for 2016. In this article, SUNY Oswego was labeled one of the top 225 best colleges. Oswego has appeared on every best regional colleges list by the Princeton Review since 2003.
Hello, my name is Gregory Castor with WBUC here at the Oswego High School, and today I have with me Mr. Jerome Oberst. Hello, Jerome.
Hey, Greg.
Could you possibly give your job occupation, like what do you do here at SUNY Oswego, perhaps?
Sure. I work in the admissions office, associate director of admissions, and I do a lot of general admissions responsibilities, talking with prospective students, evaluating applications for admission, being part of the committee on admissions, and I also spend time with all of our communications, publication, video, and that sort of thing that helps to tell the Oswego story.
Okay, thanks. I heard that you guys won an award by the Princeton Review as being one of the best Northeastern colleges here in the Northeast. Is this true?
We did. And actually, that's happened many times. I believe just about every time they've had that recognition, we have received it. Basically, we're in the group of the top Northeastern colleges, and it sort of puts us in the top 20% of colleges across the entire country when you look at selectivity, reputation, prestige, all of that sort of thing.
Do you happen to know how many colleges are within this selection? Is there, say, 20, 30, every college in the Northeast? Is there a small group?
They're looking at every four-year college in the Northeast, so colleges and universities.
Thank you for meeting with me again.
Okay, great.
All right.
I'll meet with you.
Yep.
And I hear you're going to be at SUNY Oswego next year.
I am, for communication and broadcasting.
Terrific. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll see you then.
All right, Greg.
This is Greg Castor.
My brother goes to SUNY Oswego, and it's definitely a great school.
It does seem like it is a really great school. Well, that's all for this edition of the Buc Buzz.
Thanks for tuning in.
Make sure you tune in next week for more real local and school news.
Have a terrific day, everybody.